Hello. Happy Sunday, everyone. I need to give Facebook a bit of time, as always, and a bit of time for you to find this video as well. And I need to check if we are live. I'll have a look on the page, and as soon as you get here, please let me know if you can see and hear me, so that we know that everything is working as it is supposed to work. Okay, I need to turn this down, and yeah, that's right. It seems to be working. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so hello everyone. A very warm welcome to Self-Love Sunday Chat. I'm delighted you're here again. Okay, I can see that someone is here already, so please say hi in the comments. Let me know if you can see and hear me, so that I know that everything is working well. Give me at least a thumb up, so that so that we know that that things are working. Perfect. Okay, so again, thank you for being here. A very warm welcome to this week's Self-Love Sunday Chat, and we are going to talk about very, very interesting things today. So, as I said in the title, we are going to start with what stops you, what really stands in the way to you being really loving and appreciative and kind and proud of yourself, and really loving yourself the way you are. So if there is anything coming to your mind, hi Lisa, good to see you here. And I can see your name today, so it's brilliant. Okay, so if you have any ideas what it is for you personally that kind of blocks you, that stands in the way to true and authentic self-love and self-compassion and self-appreciation, just let me know in the comments, because it's a great place to start with. Usually when we think about things that stop us from loving ourselves, we think about things that happened in the past, our childhood, our upbringing, or maybe some difficult experiences that you had on the way, some toxic relationships or traumas that might have happened. And then as a result of all that, it's difficult for you to love yourself here and now. Sometimes we also think about our weaknesses, all the things that we feel we are not good enough. And that is what makes it more difficult for us to really appreciate ourselves. And quite often we also think, or we also put conditions, yes? So we say, okay, this needs to change and this needs to change, and I need to get better at this, and I need to grow here and let go of that in order for me to be able to love myself. And this is sometimes, a road nowhere, of course, yes? So I would like to put it all into kind of one bucket, and see what it is, like when we put all of this together, what it is that stops us from really appreciating ourselves. And this is most often the story we are telling ourselves. So, and it's a story about us, it's a story about other people, it's a story about life, about, the world in general. So we are all storytellers. We are biologically predetermined. Our mind is biologically predetermined to make sense of things. And the easiest way to make sense of things is to create a story about it. So, we look around, we look at what's happening, we look at people we interact with, and we look inside as well. And we just we come up with a story about it. And you just don't have to believe me. The easiest thing is to just catch yourself in the middle of doing that. So usually when you do things that do not require a lot of your attention, like ironing, mopping the floor, or sometimes when you're stuck in a traffic jam, if you just stop for a moment and start to listen what your mind is doing, you will quite often find yourself totally engrossed in a story. So if you're stuck in a traffic jam, yes, the first story that you're creating is about why the traffic jam is where it is, why today, why now, and you might have a story, about why does that always happen to me, that I get stuck in traffic jams. You might have a story about your boss and what she is going to say when you're late for work again. You might have a story about, why do I always leave so late and then don't have enough time. There can be plenty of different stories that you make up in your mind. So just let me know if that sounds familiar. And even if you have, like favorite moments or situations where you allow yourself to dive deep into all these stories that your mind is creating. Yeah, Emma. Yes, Emma says that she makes stories about things that will probably never happen. Exactly. So yeah, we make stories about past, about what's happening now, and about the future that quite often make us very, very anxious. So yeah, Lisa says that she catches herself doing that a lot. Yeah, I think like if we start to pay attention, we all do, because on some level it's like it's a normal and healthy thing, and it can be very helpful, but it's not always. So, if you, for example, like if you're talking to a friend, let's look at this that way. If you're talking to a friend and she says that she's like really worried about her husband, he hasn't been himself lately. He's very irritated with her all the time, kind of absent-minded and distracted. He comes back from work later and later, and she tried to talk to him. He doesn't want to talk about it. He says it's all okay, but she can see that something's not right, and also he lost all interest in sex, and they haven't made love for the last couple of months. Do you have a story already in your head? I bet you do, because that's what usually happens. So you create a story about what you're hearing from your friend, and that's okay. The interesting thing is, what kind of story have you come up with? Because all of us, each of us, can come up with a different story. And this story that you're creating, yes, is of course the result of all of your experiences up to now. So do you have an idea what is happening for your friend in this imaginary situation? If anything comes to your mind, just let me know in the comments, because there are so many different options here. And it's very interesting what kind of an option you're coming with. There is even, I'm sure you've heard about it, this Rorschach's test. It's a personality test when they show you all the different images and ask you what you see. There's a little anecdote about it, so I want to show you just an example of what it looks like. So that's an image from the test. So there's an anecdote about a psychiatrist, yes, asking a patient, so what can you see in this picture? And the patient is thinking and thinking and thinking and saying then, I definitely don't see blood. And then the psychiatrist says, okay, so what else you definitely don't see in the picture? Yeah. So that's how it works for all of us. Yes, he's having an affair. Of course, that's probably the most common story, the most popular story, yes, that we, our explanation that we can come up with, yes. But he might be depressed. He might have like serious problems at work. He might be having like a serious problem with gambling. He might be sick and diagnosed with something and doesn't want to tell his wife what's going on, not to worry her. So like theoretically, yes, there are so many options possible. Like there are plenty of options, yes, what you can see in this image. You can see, like, people see two bears, people see two people fighting, and of course plenty of other stuff. So what you see here is kind of reflecting how your mind works and what kind of data has it stored up to now. Yes, so and when people come to me for one-on-one sessions, like, that's what they do as well. They tell me a story. But because I've been doing this job for years, and because I've been trained like to look at things differently and still learn all the time, I can see that what they are telling me is just a version of a story. So, I know that the same story can be told in many different ways. Uh, and that's something that I really would like you to take out from today's chat. Yes, that we are all very unreliable narrators. And it's not that we are, intentionally misleading other people or ourselves. It's not that we are, purposefully telling lies to ourselves or to our people. But in order to create this story, we need to, emphasize some things and minimize others. We need to pay attention to some things and ignore others. We even need to see certain things and stay completely blind to all the other things. So the story that is coming up as a result might be very incomplete, might be very misleading, and might be completely wrong. And can you imagine, like, what are the consequences of you telling yourself stories over and over again that are incomplete, that are misleading, or that are basically wrong? Because that's what you do. You keep telling yourself stories, about why things are the way they are, why you made a certain choices in the past, why things did or didn't work out, why you like certain things and hate others, and also very much about who you are, what kind of a person you are, what other people in your life are like, what life in general is like. And these stories, after a while, they become your life. Because if you tell them over and over again, you start to believe in them at a certain point. And once you believe in them, they become, so to say, like part of you, part of your identity. And our identity is a very strong thing. We can go to great lengths to stay true to what believe is our identity. So we kind of start to live in a way that proves that our stories are true. And just to give you a little example, from my own life. So because like of my childhood and the way I was brought up, and even more like the life as it was when I was little, yes, I learned that that life is mostly about, survival. Yes, so for me, uh, survival was the main theme that was coming up in my stories. So you know and that's very understandable, yes, because like I learned that from my parents and from my grandparents. My grandfather, like, he escaped from a concentration camp, which was probably the biggest story in our family, told over and over again. And then my childhood was like filled with stories about war, yes, and what my grandfather, my nana, what they had to cope with, how they had to survive, how they managed to, come alive from situations that were really life threatening. And my parents, yes, had to survive, or were surviving when I was small, with the circumstances around us. Yes, so I was falling asleep with my father trying to listen to BBC on the radio. Yes, with all of these extra noises, which was forbidden, of course. And the all the hardships, yes, and trying to get all the food that we needed, and then trying not to get, in trouble with the police. And so there was like a lot of stuff that was about survival. And when I grew up, and my life was much other life around was much more peaceful and easy, and there weren't any objective, uh, difficult things happening, I would still create, uh, subconsciously, of course, create a lot of drama and a lot of hardship, because that was the only way I could feel I am a good person. I am a good and worthy person. I can be proud of myself if my life is really hard, but I can cope with it. And that was my way of living for quite a while, yes. So I had to kind of create all of this to feel good about myself, and to prove to myself, to prove to the whole world that I am strong and that I know how to make it, even in the most difficult situations. And these stories are so deeply ingrained in us, that even though I let go of this story a while ago, I did plenty of work, yes, to move from surviving into thriving, to invite more easiness and lightness into my life. Still, when the pandemic happened, and in these, first few weeks when we didn't know what was going on, there was so much uncertainty and anxiety, yes, at the beginning, I could catch myself, feeling this rush of adrenaline, that now, oh, now I can prove that I can cope with that. And if you look deep enough, even in all the stories that are really difficult, that make you struggle with life, that make you unhappy, uh, even in them, there is a certain pleasure when the story is in full swing. Because these stories, even if they are hard, difficult, make you struggle, they are very familiar. And what is familiar feels very safe. So that's a very important thing, when you catch yourself engrossed in the story. Catch also this part of you that is enjoying living this story again. Because as you can see, these stories have like huge power. They can keep you, and can make you repeat the same patterns all over again. They can, and it might feel like it's life serving you on a plate something all over again. But in fact, it's us creating life in the same way all over again. And then they may keep you stuck, they may keep you struggling, and they can make you see yourself in a very distorted way. And that's what our main point like today is, yes, that the moment you believe in all of these stories, then you are like in a, like at an amusement park, there are this house of mirrors, yes. You walk in and all you see is this distorting mirrors. So you see a very distorted version of your own body wherever you look. And this is what happens so often in our life, yes, that we see ourselves through the lens, through the filter that our story puts on our eyes. And we see ourselves in a very distorted way. So I would really like you to take a moment and think or feel even, what are the main themes that are coming up in the stories you've been telling yourself? What are your stories mainly about? And if you can share with us in the comments, that would be great. Just what it is, what are the main things that are coming over and over again in your stories? Or I can see Jan is here, and Breda is here, and Kathleen is here. Welcome. I just can't see the comments from my personal profile, so I'll keep the phone open. So, what are the main themes in your stories? What keeps coming back over and over again? And then you as a protagonist in your own story, what are you like? What you believe is true about you? And then who are the supporting characters? In every story there are the supporting characters, people who help you believe that your story is true. It's like I was watching like a TED talk a while ago, and the girl came up with this amazing term, which was like idiot compassion. And that's like, I love it. So it is, when for example, you had like a very difficult day at work, yes, and you're talking to your friend or your partner in the evening, and you say, God, it was such a hard day, and my boss is such a jerk, and like she's so unfair. She always picks up on me, and she never treats me fairly, and it's like all wrong. And then the person you're talking to is saying, yes, that's right, you're right, it's so unfair, it's so hard on you. It's like, yeah, it's like all wrong. This is idiot compassion. Yes, it just keeps you stuck even more that you were stuck a moment ago. And yeah, and sometimes it's like a genuine attempt at compassion, but not very helpful, right? So who are the supporting characters in your story? Protagonist is the main character of the story. So the main character of the story. So this is you basically. So what is the main character like? What is the story about? What's the main character about? Hi, Saralee. Great to see you here. Who are the supporting characters, and who's the villain? Yes, who's the villain in the story? And maybe you're the villain here, because that happens quite often. And the most interesting question, of course, is could this story be told in a different way? And the answer to this question is always yes. So what is the other way that this story can be told? and would telling the story in a different way make it easier for you to live your life? Because the first thing always is to notice the story, as we did just a moment ago. And these are like great prompts for a bit of journaling, to really write it down. What are the main themes that are coming up for you over and over again? What you believe you as a protagonist are like, who is supporting your stories, who is against your stories, what's really going on in the story, and then what are other ways to tell this story. And it's just about curiosity, yes, as always. It's about noticing what's going on and then getting curious about what's really going on here. Sometimes it's in the moment. You might be talking to somebody, like going for lunch with somebody from work whom you don't know very well. You're going for lunch, you're having your lunch, you're having a nice chat during your lunch, everything is well, and then you're about to leave, and you say to this person, wow, it was so great to spend this time together, we had a great chat, I really enjoyed it. And the person is looking at their phone, and I say, and in a fraction of a second that a button has been pushed, right? So, and then where do you go from there? Sometimes we don't notice, or we don't want to notice that the button has been pushed, and we go straight away into a story. For example, oh, she probably didn't like talking to me during lunch. Yeah, it was so boring for her. Yes, I'm such an uninteresting person. Yes, I'm just all the rubbish about how unlovable you are. Or maybe you go in the direction, oh God, what did I say wrong? I must have said something wrong. Yes, and she took offense, and then it's all about guilt and blaming myself. Oh, maybe you can go in the direction, God, she's such a rude person. She keeps checking her phone while I'm talking to her. So there are many different directions in which you want to go. But this story might have nothing to do with what really happened. Lisa says, I have a good friend at work. He reminds me the boss is doing a job. Not get in for me. Yes, yeah. So this would be a person that helps you to get out of your story. Yes, really supportive character in the story. So this is all again about noticing, and this is like the work we have been doing in the inner circle this month. Yes, really paying attention to what emotions are triggered in us and how we can stay present with these emotions, so that we do not have to create all of these crazy stories, and we can just stay in the moment and allow our body to process the emotion and let it go, because that's always the first step to more freedom and choice. And so once you learn to stop and be curious, it'll be much more easier to look through the veil and to maybe very gradually, or maybe in an instant, let go of all these stories that distort the way you see yourself. Because we really tend to see ourselves in a very distorted way, as victims, as failures, as weak, as unlovable, as unreliable, as inconsistent, as not capable of coping with life, or as not capable of making the change we want to change. And as long as we see ourselves that way, it's very difficult for us to love ourselves. So there are, of course, many ways of working with the story. Like as we as we had a glimpse into right now, yes, so you can see the story for what it really is. You can do a bit of journaling. You can stop yourself by being very present in here and now, from going into the story too much, and that's all very helpful. And that's all what we do in the inner circle. Yes, we really learn how to be present and aware of what's going on, and how to work with what we are noticing as well. But there is one more way of working with all these stories, a very powerful way, and it's a kind of a great and powerful shortcut to see what's beyond the story. And that's exactly about like diving deeper and looking what else is there. So when you see through the stories and when you put the stories aside for a moment, what else is there? And this is what we are going to do on our self-love breathing circle on Tuesday. And I have like a beautiful practice planned for you, which is again all about breathing, all about journaling, all about a little like creative art. So we will do some drawings again, but this is all just a way, just a pathway for you to be able to look deeper and to see who you truly are beyond all of these stories. Because you are so more than the story. You are so much more powerful and wise and confident and joyous and peaceful already, here and now, when you are able to look beyond the story. And once you get a glimpse, once you get a sense, a feel, once you learn how to rest a bit in what is beyond all of these stories, well, then it's a life-changing experience. Because first of all, you get some distance to all of these stories, so they do not have so much power over you anymore. And then you're starting to get more and more glimpses into who you truly are. And I promise you, it's very, very easy to love yourself once you connected to who you truly are. What we don't love about ourselves is all these incomplete, misleading, or wrong stories that we have created about ourselves. So I really invite you to join us on Tuesday. There is the link above this video. It'll be like a beautiful evening, and we have like an amazing date, yes, for this event. So it's the 22nd of 22. So all the twos coming together on this day, and that just happened because we always have like our breathing circles of each last Tuesday on every month. So I didn't choose this date intentionally. It is what it is. So it's wonderful, yes, how this is like working out. So let me know how all this resonates with you. If you have any trouble with getting out of your story, or even understanding what's happening in your story, just share it with us in our group, and I'll be delighted to assist as much as I can. And I hope to see you on the breathing circle on Tuesday, so that we can spend this evening together and do some amazing breathing and journaling, and just being together in the circle to inspire one another, to encourage one another, and to grow together. So thank you so much for today. I hope you will have a beautiful beautiful Sunday, and I hope to see you on Tuesday. Thanks a million, and bye for now.